Good day, everyone. This is Pineleaf Needles, and welcome to DDO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in DDO and here at DDO Players. And please welcome my co-host from Ravenloft, Draculetta.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
And also, please welcome our guest for this week, Saba Jade.
Hello.
Hello, and welcome back.
Thank you. Great to be back.
All right, and let's now head into the news, what we have of it. And the main bit of news is the latest in the Arcane Archer changes. And Drac, you have been waiting for these, right?
Yes, I have, with bated breath, as they say.
Ooh.
In the forums, there is a thread that Varguil put up. These are the proposed Arcane Archer changes. And he says, here's some of the changes we would like to make to the Arcane Archer sooner rather than later. We expect we may come back to the Arcane Archer in the not-so-distant future to address additional issues we'd like to get to. We consider this a strong basis for improvement in some of the primary Arcane Archer features. There are some specific abilities that we consider underperforming that we want to address, but may not have the time to get to it very soon.
And I noticed that soon, of course, is trademarked by Turbine.
Of course it is.
Yes.
And he did add that in a footnote, which his footnotes were hilarious. Before we get to the footnotes, let's get to the meat of the Arcane Archer changers. The action boost is going to be reduced by 1 AP per rank.
Okay. Now, before you go on this, I have a question.
Okay.
How much do you really use action boosts?
Personally, myself, I don't use them at all.
Yeah,
All the
because
time.
I know, because I always avoid them whenever I see them in a tree.
But did you say you did, Saba? You used them?
Yeah, all the time. I like the haste action boost. And then on my fighters, I use the damage one. Yeah, absolutely worth the APs.
Well, I think the problem is that I know that I will completely forget to use them.
Yeah, I just keep track of when they're off timer and then go back again. And some characters have more action boosts than the others, so I use them sparingly on some that have very few. You should give them a go. They're good. Absolutely worth it.
DDO Central in the chat is saying, yes, you should definitely use the boost. You get stat boost with the offensive and defensive boost.
Yeah, depending on the line that you're in, like a dwarf, when you use, if I remember correctly, one of them, if you use the race tree, you'll get plus to strength. You can get plus to strength, con, and another one. The further up the tree, the higher you get to it, so you can get up to, I think it's 4, and plus 4 to strength or con, depending on which way you're going. It's really worth it.
Oh, okay. Continue, Drac.
Okay, so the action boosts are going to be reduced to 1 AP per rank. DC-based arrow stances, which I use quite a bit in this line. Those do include the chair, the paralyzing, the banishing, and smiting arrows. Each become 1 rank with 2 AP. Each has a saving throw of 20 plus wisdom modifier, plus the enhancement spell bonuses. Each enhancement taken grants a +1 DC with your enhancement spells. Paralyze and Terror become short durations, but no additional save after the initial save. Short in this case is about 6 seconds. But if you keep shooting one target, it can continue to be paralyzed or terrored. If you can keep a line going for improved precise shot, you can keep this going on multiple enemies. To control maximum enemies, you'll need to frequently switch targets. And I'm pretty excited about because I use paralyzed arrows a lot.
Yeah, I noticed.
Pine Leaf could tell you because I'm always like paralyzing stuff. I kind of now even frequently switch targets and I will try to keep stuff paralyzed. So this kind of excited me that they're making this change to it. Not that I mind how it works now, but I think I can really see myself spreading more arrows around now to try to keep more things paralyzed. And then also with the paralyzing arrows on the save, it's going to have a chance to apply 3 seconds of a negative 10% movement and attack speed. So that is a nice little debuff that you...
What kind of chance of that? 5% chance? 10%?
It just says chance, so they didn't say. I'm thinking probably not very much, but they're changing smiting arrows a little bit. It's going to gain the chance to apply Deconstructed, which slows attack speed, reduces fortification by 25%, and also inflicts a 25% penalty to the repair healing. The Banishing Arrows gains chance to inflict Pull of Reality on each hit. And the Pull of Reality is basically a -1 PRR, -1 MRR. and that will stack up to 25 times. 5 stacks fade away every 3 seconds if no new stacks were added.
All right, I have a question for you, Drac. So
Okay.
you play an Arcane Archer, right?
I do, yes. My ranger is an Arcane Archer.
And you do paralyze. You can only get one of these at a time, right? Paralyze or smiting.
Correct. Yes. It's a stance that you have to go into, so you have to pick.
And just say you came across something that you wanted to use smiting arrows against, and you had your paralyzing arrows stance on. How long would it take you to switch to the smiting arrows and then switch back again?
The cooldown, I want to say you can switch pretty much instantaneously. There's really, but to go back to paralyzing, I want to say it's maybe like a 15-second cooldown. Maybe it's not much.
Okay.
So
not as easy as changing weapons, though.
Right. Correct. No, it's not quite that easy. And I do tend to do that. I mean, I will switch out from like paralyzing to like smiting, or I might do tear a little bit. So I basically just stay in paralyzing, but I have found some instances where smiting would help for whatever Pine Leaf, because my ranger, I just play with Pine Leaf. I kind of switch in and out. I stay in paralyze.
I love paralyzing.
It comes in so handy.
It does. When you're playing in a group or single.
But he complains whenever they save.
Yes, I do.
So now you're not here then anymore, right?
That's right.
Or not as much.
Overall, in the forums, people are fairly okay with these changes. I think the biggest thing that I saw in this thread was it seems like everything now is going to be based off wisdom, which is kind of weird, but it kind of makes sense. You're an Arcane Archer. I mean, coming from tabletop, that makes sense because all of the arcane, stuff in tabletop is all based on wisdom. So I understand why they're doing it. There's just some people that are saying, well, this is good, we're going to have to rebuild ranger builds totally because, most people don't take wisdom for the ranger.
But I thought that wisdom was a prime attribute for rangers.
It is, but I know a lot of the builds, most people don't put a lot into wisdom because I'm the wrong person to talk about that because I don't do like builds or min-max builds or whatever. So I'm definitely not the person to talk to, but I know I've seen the thread. There's a lot of people complaining that, they're basically basing everything now where you need wisdom.
A case where they only put as much into wisdom as they need in order to cast the spells.
Correct, yeah, and it's DDO Central is pointing out too, yeah, it's one of your secondary attributes for rangers, so that's why.
So it absolutely makes sense for Arcane Archer.
Yeah, and then me, when I built my Arcane Archer, coming from tabletop, I put a lot into wisdom already because I'm just used to it from tabletop. So overall, I think it's pretty exciting. We'll have to see what actually ends up happening. Test it out on the Mania whenever that may be. The other big thing is the slaying arrow, which I never use that much. But Verguil says, depending on DPS testing, this may be decreased or increased in power. Yes, if we've injected too much power into Arcane Archer, this is where we will probably pull back on some of it. And I say boo to you, sir, boo. We don't expect to fundamentally change the design of this ability, but if it's not a healthy or good design for so much of the power in one tree or build to be in a single ability like this. And yes, we understand just how powerful and vital it is for certain builds, but that's not part of the problem. But that's part of the problem, he says. So we'll have to see. Overall, like I said, from looking at what they propose to do, I don't see anything that I'm really too upset about. I'm just going to have to get used to the paralyzing change. I'm just going to have to remember that I'm going to have to keep applying that to multiple targets and keep it going. And then I should be able to do some pretty decent crowd control that way.
So does it look, based on your knowledge of Arcane Archers, does it look like we're going to have a couple more build choices, or is it seems like everybody's going to go toward the same one, except for people who play for flavor like you?
Personally, I'm liking it, and I did kind of read on the thread that some people are actually kind of thinking of some new builds they can do with this.
That's always good.
So yeah, I think most people are fairly happy about it, but Quijan is pointing out that Dex isn't a caster stat. People on the forums just want everything to be put into one stat. They'll start complaining that Dex should boost Ranger hit points too. Which is true. People do tend to, if you make one change about one thing, they complain about everything. So that's true. And that's just like the nature of any MMO. That's why, I'll be honest, I tend to not put a lot of stock in what I read on the forum, because forums are basically, to me, just a small vocal minority of people just moaning and complaining the loudest. And I mean that in the nicest of ways, because I know I'm going to get complaints on that, but that's my feeling.
That has definitely been my experience in reading the forum sometimes.
Is it the same over in Lotro?
Oh, it's worse at Lotro.
Oh.
Well, actually, I haven't read the DDO forums enough to know if it's, but I feel like it's worse at Lotro. But sometimes the forums there get rather nasty.
And then we did kind of hint at it at the very beginning. Yes, Vargwheel put in footnotes. And he says, footnotes, Vargwheel? That's so outdated. Don't you think you're in the module years? And then his footnotes are, number 1, soon, trademarked. And then number 2, he says, I'm going to recommend that when you fight in other planes, some enemy monsters should inflict pull of reality on player characters.
Ouch!
Yeah, that would hurt.
That would hurt and kind of suck. But it would make fights rather interesting, though.
They don't think archers and monster archers hurt enough?
They just need to go into the temple to find that out. Those archers in the temple are insane. And I have been reading, I guess they made some changes to the Epic Elite, and I guess archers and Epic Elite are like hitting for crazy numbers now, too.
Oh, it's not just Epic Elite. I did a Epic Hard, one of the new quests the other day, and I had just done normal, went to hard, and the amount of damage between the two was amazing. I had to be careful of the archers. They were my first go every time.
Stupid archers.
And you were one.
Right? And I am one, that's right. And I'm proud to be one, so I can't wait I can't wait to see what they do with this. You can check out the thread. We'll have it linked in the show notes if you kind of want to look at the thread and see what people are saying about this, and hopefully we'll have it up on Lemania that we can test out and play with.
Now, for the benefit of those who may be listening to us live, there will be a My Account maintenance on Tuesday, October 13th from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And it's just a maintenance. It's not an update to the game or anything like that. But I have a feeling that the My Account maintenance is tied to the store updates, because while that's going on, Lotro is going to be updating to the new store to test that out.
I like that they're the guinea pig.
All right. So
just a reminder, though, for the maintenance, if you may not be able to log in to the game or to forums, if you try and log in during that time, but if you're already on, you should be okay.
Yes, I was going to point that out. Yeah, Cordovan did put that in his post. He did say if you are logged in before the maintenance starts, you still should be able to play and stay logged in. But if you log out, you're not going to be able to get back in until it comes back out.
Of course, it's highly unlikely that I'm going to be logging in at 7 a.m.
I don't know. That's a great time to play.
Well, I tend to play 7 a.m. tends to be when I'm logging out from a morning session rather than logging in. DDO included on the MMORPG 5 MMOs for experienced players, as opposed to inexperienced players.
Is that a good thing that we're on a list that says experienced players? Will that put people off from playing if they're new?
I kind of wondered that when I saw this was included on the list, and I think, well, it can kind of go either way. But yeah, the folks over on MMORPG, they make these lists up all the time. Like they had one that were the 5 best free-to-play RPGs, then they had one, the 5 best action RPGs. So they just make lots of different lists. And they talked about D&D, as Pine Leaf said, and we came in at number 5 on the list. They say there is a lot of D&D-based video games out there, each bringing one or more aspect of pen and paper experience to the digital table. Dungeons & Dragons Online's strength is in its unfailing dedication to the Eberron and Forgotten Realms source material. The rule set, from skills to feats, is super crunchy. The action-based combat is serviceable, and the party mechanics can provide for some excellent adventuring. If you haven't played DDO, or if it's been a long time since you have, Turbine's game is certainly worth a try. And it was pointed out in the post that I did, and it was DDO Central that actually responded to this post and said, do notice that they do not include any actual gameplay footage from DDO, but instead they use the intro movie. Which I did think was kind of weird because the other games that were on the list, they used gameplay. So I'm not sure why they made that odd decision for this. Kind of weird, but we're on the list with like Secret World and Final Fantasy. So we're on the list with some really big names. So I think it could be a good thing, but like Sab said though, that it might, as she put it, like hinder some people because they might think the game is, only for like the experienced MMO player, it kind of is if you think about it, because it's not. And I'm trying to think of how to put this where it's not going to sound really negative against the game because I don't mean it to. But you can't really just jump in and, like, if you've never played an MMO before, and let's assume you've never played pen and paper either, this is going to be a really hard game for you to jump in and just play. At least I think so. Maybe I'm wrong in that.
No, I think you're right. I think if you haven't played an MMO before, not necessarily, because I've never played. This is my first.
Okay.
All right.
But I had played pen and paper.
So maybe this is the game you go to after you get bored with Neverwinter?
Well, I could really say something right now, but I won't. Oh, be nice and we'll just move on from that.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So, and I just think it's kind of good to actually see DDO getting some press, period. That's a good thing, because we really don't. And I know Jeff, Hannah from, on his blog is always talking about how Wizards, they only ever talk about Neverwinter. They never mention DDO for anything. And I agree with Jeff. I don't understand why we're like the redheaded stepchild that nobody wants.
I never got that
with
either.
Wizards. I don't.
Are they trying to go for? It seems like Neverwinter is, as you said, if you want to jump in and play, you're gonna have an easy time. It's boring as anything, but it's easy to get into and build your character because there is no character building. So if you just want to go out and play a D&D based game, hack and slash, dungeon crawl, there you go. But if you want to think about playing, then you want to come over to DDO.
Yeah, exactly. I could not have said that better.
All right, then. Then let's proceed then into the DDO Chronicle, issue 162, where we have a Rakshaka on our front cover.
And we really need that as a playable race, by the way. I so want to play I do. That would be awesome.
I think it'd be better to have him as a companion or something. One of your pets.
Ooh, there you go. Ooh, now I like that idea even better, actually.
Well, maybe his hireling.
That would be cool.
In the Chronicle, the Community Spotlight, the Stone of Change Eldritch Rituals Cookbook has been added to the Hall of Fame sections of the forum, so click over and check that out. We got a shout out for our 1-year VIP code giveaway, which is going bazonkers, by the way.
Bazonkers?
We're getting
how many thousands of people?
So many entries. Let's see. Let me check. As of right now, we are at 707 entries.
That is awesome.
That is awesome. So,
and what's our record right now?
Like 738 or something like that.
So we're getting there.
So we're getting close, and you have till the 19th to enter.
Oh, that's an entire another week.
So, yep. So, yeah. So we will definitely, I think this will be the most entries we've ever had for one of our contests. So.
Dang, there go my chances, right?
Well, it is RNG. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, but I have lousy luck with that as well.
See, it's not me. Don't blame it on me. Other people have RNG problems too. So, But yeah, if you haven't entered, just go over to our site and look. You'll see a post that says 1-year VIP code giveaway, amazingly. And click over, and all you got to do is leave a comment. And it is 1 entry per person. And I will just give everybody a hint. I think I've said this before when we give stuff away. I have to approve all comments, or Pineleaf does, whichever one gets to it. We see IPs, folks, so we know if you're just using different emails to enter. Just saying. Because I trashed about 4 entries today because it was the very same IP with different Gmail addresses. Doesn't take a genius to figure that out. Just saying.
Yeah, but a year of VIP, that's something to fight over. As
Heck yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Also in the Chronicle, We have the fansite news section. The Stormreach campaign is the newest official fansite. So congratulations to Quijan for being included in the fansite section. He does such a great job. So go check out his site and find out more about the Stormreach campaign. DDO Cast, as we talked about last week, hit 400 episodes, which is amazing. So click over to watch or listen to the special 400th episode of DDO Cast.
It's a long episode, but it's well worth listening.
400 minutes?
Almost. No, it was like 200. No, it was 2 hours. So.
Yeah, it was about 2 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Damsels of DDO fight the Devil's Gambit. So click over to see their adventures and hear about their adventures. I'm sure Saba can tell us how that went.
Sure.
No.
Well, we do our usual. We didn't do that this week, so we did our usual slow crawl thing. And later on, I went in with other people, and they hadn't seen some parts of it. They didn't know some of the optionals were there, which just amazes me that the first time you run through a quest, you don't go slowly and check everything out. Is that how you guys run when you do a quest for the first time? You check everything, or are you zerging to the end?
No, we play at a turtle's pace.
Yep.
And I think sometimes I kind of like actually go a little faster than Pine Leaf wants to go at times. Because I know in the Devil's Gambit, that's a perfect example of that. When we ran that, one of them, I went to the optional and I thought he was behind me, but he went a totally opposite way. And I'm like, dude, where are you at? I'm killing the boss. And he's like, what boss? And I'm like, oh, you didn't follow me.
Yeah, so right. So I'm looking one way, and he's looking the other way. He knows where to go because he's done them before, and of course, and I'm looking at nooks and crannies.
Yeah. So yes, we are not dirty zergers. House of Grouse also goes harbor questing. So click over to read about the adventures in the harbor, and that is it for our Chronicle this week.
Right, then let's head into our store sales. And is there anything really nice up for sale?
20% off shared bank storage. We all need shared bank storage finally. Character bank upgrades, select storage bags, and the shared bank platinum vault.
All right, I have a question about that last one. Do you guys really need... I don't have enough plat that I cannot fill that whole shared bank platinum vault.
Yeah, I don't either. The shared bank platinum vault, I would say...
What?
No, that's not a need. At least for me, I'm glad I'm not the only one that doesn't have a lot of platinum. So
I mean, look, even if I had that much plat, then I'll just keep it on a character until...
I do have some, a little bit, but it's a very small limit, so I can pass money back and forth. But I don't have to worry about 5.5 million DDO Central is the max. That's just amazing. I do have a friend, though, who plays, and his characters are all maxed out on plat, and he buys things on the auction house just so he has room when he's questing to be able to pick up the plat. Otherwise, you can't.
Oh, there's a limit on characters also?
Yeah.
See, I didn't even know that.
It must be nice to be at that limit. That's all I'm saying.
Well, honestly, sometimes it's a bit annoying when you hear them say, oh, I'm plat capped again. It's like, I've never been plat capped. 4.2 million, somebody said, for a character.
That's crazy.
You said it's 5.5 million?
That's for the shared.
That's for the shared.
yeah, and it's 4.2 million. Lewis Lawrence is saying for characters.
4.2 million. I have a feeling that if you convert that into copper, it's going to come out to 4.2, so around 4.2 billion. And the reason why I say that, it sounds like a 32-bit integer limit.
Could be.
Free sample of the week is the world-famous Bellop opening. You get one of those with the coupon code BBELL, 1 per account.
So for
Babel.
Those non-rogues, there you go, a free Bella opening.
Let's then head into our site news, where we had a poll on, have you gotten a drop from the Devil's Gambit?
We had 88 total voters in this poll. The number one answer at 41% was yes, they have gotten a drop. 26% said I have not ran the quest. 19% said yes, but it was not the item I wanted / was looking for. 7% said nope, not one name drop at all. And only 7%, which I am very sad that only 7% of the people voted for Curse You RNG. It's kind of hoping there'd be more that would pick that.
Oh, well, I obviously said not what I was looking for, since I think I got 2 drops at the time when I was running it with you.
Yeah, and when I originally voted, I said Curse You RNG, but I slowly am starting to get drops out of there. And it may or may not be something I want. Spoiler alert for later in the show. You'll have to stay tuned.
All right.
See what happens. How's that for a tease?
It looks like Quijon says Epic Slice, Epic Dice, and the Heroic Laurel
Oh,
Helix.
he's just bragging now.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Characters. The drop rates seem reasonable. I'm guessing you could farm these without too much hassle with a full party.
And I want to know, what do you consider a reasonable drop rate, sir? That's all I'm going to say. And we had a lot of posts over on the forum, on the post I put up in the fanside section. Macardo says, running EE loot has dropped often and plentiful for me. I still lack the one item I actually want, but the drop rates seem fine or maybe too high, if anything.
Okay, I have to disagree with that because I ran EE all the quests with a group, and it seemed like one person out of the group got a named item. I didn't get it, but
Blurkington says, I've been running these quests a lot and got all the items I really wanted quickly and easily. I've also been able to help other people get the items they wanted too, like the quiver, several times. So I have no complaints about the drop rates of that content. By contrast, I found that Amroth's chain loot drops much, much worse. I ran them a lot, wasn't able to pull items I wanted after multiple ransacks on 2 characters on EE. I eventually got the helm myself, and someone took pity on me and passed me the ring for my wizard. There are still items I did particularly want that I haven't pulled even once. Demon Assault seems to have the worst offender. I guess it could be attributed to the fickleness of the Arcane.
Arcane, I think is what he meant.
But my impression after many runs of both is that the drop rates were much better in U28 content than U27 content. Thanks, Astrakhan of Kyber.
I guess the RNG just really hates me because everybody's talking about how great these drop rates are.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of knew it did, but now this is just like driving home the point that it does.
yeah, but are you running the quest by yourself, or are you in a group with
Yeah, I'm by
5 other
myself.
people? There you go. They're saying if you're in a group with 5 people, and you almost guarantee it seems like one person's going to get something. And they actually are very nice about, hey, I don't need this. Do you want it? Because they're bound to count.
Yeah, maybe I'll try that. Maybe I'll look in the LFG panel and see if anybody's running these, and maybe try in a group and see if that helps my...
Yeah. Now, it could be a lot of these people are running it at Elite or something like that.
Which it sounds like most of the people were talking about, yeah, they were running it at Epic Elite is what most...
Right, which then bumps up the drop rate.
True.
Pretty sure.
Yep.
All right. Alan Karp says, voted. Also, I have pulled probably 10 named items. Everything I wanted, for sure. In fact, I think I can safely say that this is the best named item drop rate I have seen in quite a while. Problem. When equipping 6 set items simultaneously, the promised +3 bonus does not happen. And he says that he reported the bug.
I say congrats to Alan Karp for being able to get 6 set items.
All right, then. Let's look at the screenshot of the week, and it looks like that we're taking a trip to the Necropolis.
That's right. Edric sends this one in, and he says, this one of Edric roaming around the Necropolis. I have to love the evil sky. Later, Edric. It's one of those just cool little, red trees, moon in the background, Necropolis shot, which I think that's actually a pretty awesome looking area out there. So,
Now, while the place looks sinister, I don't think that the sky looks particularly evil.
No, they could have made the sky a little more evil, I guess. Make it like blood red or something. That would be.
Make it blood red.
Maybe like raining blood too. That would be awesome.
Ooh,
See,
okay.
I have so many ideas for this now. If you're I'm happy with the screenshot you took. You can send that to us, and we might feature it on our site. You send that to podcast@ddoplayers.com, and we'll put your screenshot up on the site.
Okay, then. Now, did we ever get a winner for the Stormreach campaign?
We did. I had to pull another name, though, because our first winner never contacted me.
That's a shame.
Oh.
The winner that I pulled contacted me right away. So we want to send a big congratulations out to Saki for
Congratulations.
winning the book, and it's in the mail to him now. I sent along the tracking information for him, so I'm sure he'll let us know when he gets that. And then I posted his winning shot that he sent in, and then I posted also some other shots that you can take a look at in the thread over on DDO Players.
All right, then.
Yeah, he was super excited to actually win this, so I'm glad that it went to somebody that was excited about it. And he also, I think it wasn't on our site, it was on the forum post I put up this in the fan side section. He said he recently just reincarnated one of his characters, and he's actually using the Stormreach campaign PDF as the basis for how he's running the quest. So he's using the Stormreach campaign to run the quest, which is awesome.
That sounds really cool.
So he was super, super excited to actually be able to have the hardback copy of it to do that with. So I am so happy that he was excited to win.
Let's head into our news beyond DDO. And there are some new Rage of Demons items from Gale Force 9. And what are these things?
They are an official partner with Wizards of the Coast. So anything they put out will be an official product. And the reason why I say that is because I have seen some other DM screens and stuff that are not officially licensed. So there's that little caveat because most of them are not that good. But the Gale Force 9 one I have one of the older DM screens that they put out, and it's pretty good. But the first one is the Rage of Demons screen. It's got all the Rage of Demons artwork on the front of it, and then on the inside, it has all of your pertinent tables and everything that you will need. That is set to release late October, but actually, I got a press release from them today that it is now available.
All right. Now, is that a map of the realms that
That is. As a matter of fact, you have good eyes, Pine Leaf. It is a map on the inside of the DM screen, so that would be the side that, of course, the DM would see.
Yes. Now, part of that thing of those items that I saw there was Orcas.
The MSRP on it is $75, but it's a limited edition of 1,500 on these. And if you look at this picture, it looks freaking amazing. The detail that is in on this mini, and I did put a picture on the post. And if you watch the YouTube version of this show, I will have the picture on the screen of this as well, so you guys can see it as well. But it is an amazing mini. And they have everybody's favorite Zuggedmoy, and she looks pretty amazing herself. That has a MSRP of $25. She looks like she's a little smaller than Orcas. But they're just amazing, amazing little minis. Gale Force 9 is actually bringing out a Demogorgon. This one is standing at just about 8 inches tall. This is pretty amazing looking too. They were at a International Toy Fair toy show that was in Germany. I'm not even going to attempt to announce the name of it. So we'll just say they were at a toy fair in Germany, unless Pine Leaf wants to go ahead and try to announce the name, which I'm sure you'll probably just ramble right off.
Well, let's see. I'm trying to remember which one it is because I know that they had a toy fair here just... at the Essen, yes. Yeah, the Essen was just being...
Well, see,
okay. You're talking about... Okay, you mean the Spieltag Spiel 15 toy show.
See, I knew you would just ramble it right off. I wasn't even going to attempt. Anyway, Pine Leaf speaks German on DDO Players. There you go.
No.
No info is available, like the MSRP, the date on it, but what?
It does help that everyone refers to the big Game of the Year award as the Spiel if you're in board game circles.
Okay, I'm in board game circles, and I did not know that, so I just learned something.
Yes, the Spiel des Jahres is the big is the big award that they give, and and many people consider that to be the most prestigious of all the Game of the Year awards that are given out.
Pineleaf just dropping the knowledge.
Yeah. Okay, we will resume our regularly scheduled show.
Yep, that's it. Basically, on the Demogorgon, we have no MSRP on it, our release date. But as soon as I get a press release or something from Gale Force 9, I will be sure to post that information.
All right, very well. And Vin Diesel Play D over the weekend with Geek and Sundry.
And we did kind of talk about this last week, that Geek and Sundry were doing the Extra Life marathon at the same time Wizards of the Coast was. And they did do a little section of the Critical Role show that they do on Geek and Sundry. They had a special edition of that going, and they invited Vin Diesel along, and he played some D&D, and he posted a video on his official Facebook page that he was basically geeking out over getting to play D&D after, I forgot how many years it had been since he played, but he was just freaking out. Wizards tweeted, "This is awesome." And of course, we have to ask, when do we get to watch? And Matthew Mercer responded back to that Twitter. And of course, Matt Mercer is the DM for Critical Role. And he says, "Oh, don't worry, it'll be online in a short time." So
Is that a trademark too?
It should be, if it's not. And Vin says, "Guys, I had so much fun playing with you all. I'm going to do it again. We're doing more. I'm joining in. I'm not kidding. I finally found my home. I've got D&D players in LA. Yeah." So if you watch this video, it is like amazing to see Vin Diesel just like totally geek out. And we will be sure to post a link when that video gets up of the Critical Role. It's not up yet. At least I haven't seen Geek and Sundry or Matt Mercer post about it yet. So, but can't wait to actually see the video of Vin playing some D&D.
All right, very well. Then we have Kobold Press has a Kickstarter on Tome of the Beast for 5th edition.
Kickstarter seems to be the big place to go to publish your game, or your game aid in this case. This is going to give you hundreds of monsters that you can add to your 5th edition game. It is a whole new manual of demons, dragons, undead, and other horrors, plus their lairs as well. And as I said in the post, they had me at undead, so I'm so into this. But Kobold Press should sound familiar because they have joined with Wizards of the Coast in the past. As a matter of fact, they are the ones that are behind the Tyranny of Dragon Adventures that they just ran. They're the ones that actually wrote that book. So you can be rest assured Kobold Press does know 5e and writes for 5e well.
All right.
And I linked the Kickstarter over that so you can see they want $20,000 is the goal for that.
And they're currently at $54,000.
There you go. I didn't look to see if it actually, but usually the Kobold Press 5e stuff gets kickstarted, and I'm sure they probably made that within a day. I can double check on that. So it looks like this will be a thing soon.
All right, very well. An estimated delivery is April of 2016. Now let's take a look back at Dark Suns Online with Massively Overpowered.
Yeah, Justin, also known as Sip Olivetti over from Massively OP, wrote a article as part of his Game Archaeologist column that he does, and he talked about Dark Sun Online, which I did not even know this existed.
Yeah, I said, what?
I don't know how I missed this, because I played all of the Gold Box games. I loved the whole Dark Sun setting for Advanced D&D, and I killed I don't know how many of my players in Dark Sun, because it was just like a brutal, brutal realm to play in. How did I not even know this online game ever existed? It actually predated Ultima Online and EverQuest, so this was like the very first foray into online gaming, which if you read the article that Sip put up, it didn't go so well. But it, like I said, they were doing this before most people even ever heard of an MMORPG.
So what they were doing was pretty groundbreaking at the time.
You said it predated Ultima Online?
Yes, it did.
There aren't too many MMOs that could claim that one.
Yeah, and I can't believe. Looks like it came out, and I looked it up. It came out in 1996, and it was part of some network I've never heard of called the 10 Network. It was originally going to be for AT&T, but then something happened, and Sip talks about this in his article. So go ahead and give the article a read. But yeah, I was just impressed that I didn't even know this game ever existed.
Now let's go into our special for this week, where Saba Jade gets to tell us what the damsels are up to.
Well, we're doing our epic characters because we're trying to get epic completionist. So we're going to be finishing up the Druid's Deep Chain tomorrow. We've done the first 2 quests, and we're going to do the last in it. I don't know how long this project is going to take, because I think Myth and Les are on their 2nd epic life, and there are many more to go. I'm halfway done, because they have other things they're playing now that we talked about before the show. And so anytime I say, hey, let's do this, they're like, yeah, no. And then eventually we're going to do the Wolfpack, because I know people like watching us do the Wolfpack, and that's a lot of fun to play.
That was fun. That was the one that you guys invited me on when you made me do that horrible, horrible quest.
You have to stop saying that. It's not a horrible quest. It's a great quest.
But yeah, I do enjoy watching guys on your Wolfpack. And I don't know why, because it's not like you do anything different than you guys normally do when you're playing. It's just
we still act crazy. And...
It's just very enjoyable to watch you guys play wolves.
We do. Well, Les and Myth do growl a lot. Not their wolves growl. They actually growl while we're playing. And we jump around a lot more, and it's cuter with wolves, I think. And then, of course, we each have 3 wolves following us, so that's 12 to start with, and then all the guests that we invite. They are tons of fun to play, though. But they're regular. Myth wants to work on epic characters, because she doesn't have anybody that has a lot of epic past lives yet. All right, so one thing I wanted to talk about, I was reading a forum post by Draculetta not too long ago saying, what is he doing wrong? It was in a forum post about difficulty of the quest and how the quests are too easy. Do you remember that?
Yep,
yes,
I do. I remember responding to that.
You have to remember that people that write on the forums have many past lives, many, many, many. There was one forum post that somebody said quests are all too easy. And he admitted he had 45 past lives between epic
45?
Yes, heroic. If you have that many and you're doing a heroic quest that you did when you were first starting, it should be easy, right? You can't compare. I mean, so when you read them on the forum, read them. Don't say you're doing anything wrong, because you're not. You're just it's your first life. It should be difficult, right?
Well, apparently, because it is for me. So.
Well, it's difficult for people who have a couple past lives and more knowledge of the game than you have. You see us die all the time than the damsels, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So it's not... Oh, and that's another thing I wanted to say is that even though they say they're easy, these people are still dying. I run epic elite quests with some of them, and some of them complain about how easy the quests are, and they still die. So it's not...
They complain how easy it is, and they're still getting killed?
So I think you and I would agree on this, that if you're going to run a quest and say it's easy, you better not ever die. If you're dying, it's not easy.
Right.
My goal is to complete quests without dying on Epic Elite. Hasn't happened yet. Someday.
DDO Central in the chat is saying someone posted recently on the forums that they had 90 past lives.
Oh my god.
That's insane. That to me is just craziness. And Skunk City says that basement must be pretty funky by now. And with 90 past lives, that is going to be a very stinky basement. I agree.
Yeah, I just don't know how.
Your mind's boggling, isn't it?
Yeah,
I'm trying to. I mean, 45 is bad to me, but 90 past lives. That's
no. I'm assuming that that's player's only character.
I would probably say no. That's not their only character.
Well, with the when we started having TRing, people did go. People used to have 20 alts, and they might have played 10 of them all the time. Now they're down to 1 or 2. A lot of them. They're focused on 1 or 2 characters now because they do all the past lives. I still have 20 though. I find it difficult to stop playing characters because none of them are cookie cutter. They're not min-maxers. They're kind of personal to me, the way I put them together. So other people might look at the build and go, oh, that's a little crazy, but that's how I like to play it. So I'm really invested in how I did it. I like playing them, so I cannot imagine narrowing them down to one or two. I couldn't pick.
I think maybe my challenge for next year will be to actually focus on a character rather than playing every character to fifth level like I've been doing this year, because I've been trying to learn each of the classes.
DDO Central did post, and I will put it in the show notes, the link to that, and basically the forum poster she said, I'm within a few hours of capping my 90th incarnation. My question is, what's next?
Move to a new server and start again?
I'm really 90. That is crazy to me. I'm like, my mind is literally just like boggling right now. I can't even comprehend doing that. Because I mean, what? Okay, on average,
Let's say each past life, on average, how long does it take you to do one life?
Me, it takes probably a month. Well, if you're doing a past life, you're concentrating on that character for a little bit, though.
Yeah.
And then playing your other characters here and there. So it doesn't take... a month is slow, though. If you read the forums, people sometimes... That's why they have that TR reincarnation timer, because people were doing it faster than the 3 days. That unless you have a timer, you can't do it within 3 days of the last one. So they were doing them that fast.
Oh, good grief.
I cannot imagine doing that 90 times, though. That's insane to me.
Well, everybody has a different way of... Some people, that's what they find absolutely fun, is doing that, is as fast as they can. I have a guy in my guild who has run the U-27 raid. So what is that called? Defiler of the Just, hundreds of times already. And he has those, the timers, so he'll do like 20 in a row. It's like, how do you do that many? I'm asleep by the time I get done the second.
Yeah, exactly. Literally, my mind is just like completely baffled about how or why anybody would want to do that. That's my next question.
Quijan is saying basically people do it because it can be done.
Because it can be. Yes, that sums it up.
Kind of like the old adage, why did you climb Mount Everest? Because it was there.
I look at it because it's there.
Yeah.
Don't want to climb it. Nope, just tune in on Tuesday because we're going to do the rest of the Druids Deep with our epic character.
All right, then let's head into Drac. What have you been up to?
It's going to shock nobody when I say I've been running Devil's Gambit. I know everybody's shocked at this turn of events.
No, the shock is that you're getting close to level 20.
This is true. I did hit 19.
Oh, congrats.
So that is pretty exciting to me. But then that kind of goes on what we were just talking about. What do I do when I hit 20? Do I keep going or do I...
Yes, keep going.
Keep going? Okay.
Yep.
Don't actually TR yet? Wait to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because when you hit 28, you can do an epic TR and then you'll get the past life for that epic life.
Okay.
And then you can immediately do a heroic TR, start back again at 1. And get the past life for your heroic, so you get 2 for 1.
Oh, okay. Well, then I guess I will wait. My rogue reached level 19, running Devil's Gambit over and over and over and over and over and over, yada, yada, yada. I'm running it so many times. This will put in perspective how many times I've ran these silly quests. I completed, as in finished out, absolutely filled out my Abishai Slayer in the Monster Manual. That's how many times I've been running these quests.
So what did you get for that?
Nothing but a nice chunk of turbine points.
In other words, you've run this more times than I have run all my quests combined.
Probably.
I wish there was actually a way to look up. Is there a way to look up to see how many times you ran a quest?
I don't think so.
I don't think there is either.
Oh,
But
there
Pilot,
isn't?
did you know you were running with a grinder?
No, I didn't know that.
I didn't know I was one either until this came along. But it's starting to pay off. I'm starting to see drops. So the stuff does drop. I got the Ivy Helix, which is yay. Don't really care that much about it. I'll probably pass it to one of my other characters. I got the Ship Kickers, which I have to admit is the most awesome name ever if you think about it. I'll just let that stew for a second. I got Slice.
But did you get dice?
Of course not. Let's not get crazy, Pilot.
So now you have to do another monster manual of Abishai to get your dice.
Yeah, but I cannot believe that win, and that happened this weekend, actually. It was when I first went in. I think I was doing the one in the harbor. the first Abishai I killed, I actually completed the monster manual, and I looked to see how far in I was it, and it's filled out completely. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm running this quest way too much.
All right, after we're done here, I'm going to check my monster manual and see how close I am, because that'll give me an indication of how often you've run this quest.
Yes.
It probably will. Though I guess I will say I did do what's the update before this, whatever it was called, Trial of the Archons. I did run those quests once. There was some Abishai in there, so some of that was from that. But the bulk of my Abishai are from the Devil's Gambit. And then my Shader Kai is still at level 16. No drops running the Devil's Gambit stuff. So the no drop streak does continue. It wouldn't be a week without getting no drops, you know. And that's pretty much what I did this week, other than what I did with Pineleaf. I'll let him talk about that.
We ran Trial of the Archons. I was playing with my level 16 Artificer with Drax, level 16 Ranger Rogue. And therefore we ran all three of those quests, Archon's Trial, Demon Assault, and the Devil's Details. Then I also was running with my Sorcerer. I'm at level 3 right now, and running stuff in the harbor, so I ran Garrison's Missing Pack. Now, when I was doing Garrison's Missing Pack, I finally got around to doing something that I should have done a long, long time ago. And that is, I finally figured out how to set up the keys the way I want them to work. Because I have been going around this annoyingly so that I have to go in and out of mouse look mode in order to move the way I want versus to be able to cast spells the way I want and all this stuff. So I've been really going through a real painful way about this. And I finally got around to setting it up the way I want it to work. And I haven't had enough time to actually enjoy the process, but I'm starting to get used to it and getting through the process. And hopefully I'll be able to actually cast more spells on the fly. Now, maybe I've actually learned where my spells are, since the only ones I have been using 90% of the time are the ones the ones that you get hit with the key just by hitting a single number. But I did Garrison's Missing Pack, Dirk's Got a Secret, Explosive Situation. Then I went into the Carillion Hills, where I did both the quests there, where they're smoking the captives. And then, since I'm running a sorcerer, I thought, alright, let's see if I can get an early Eternal Magic Missile Wand because sometimes when I've run this, one of the quest rewards early on is the Eternal Wand of Magic Missiles. Sometimes, no, it doesn't come up until the final rewards for the entire chain, and it looks like it's going to be a latter case because I ran there's 2 Sanctuary quests and didn't get that as a reward, and I'm getting close enough to level 4 now where I have to drop the Catacombs and head back into the Waterworks because I need to do the Waterworks next so that I could go through my usual chain of events. And that is my week.
How many more classes do you have to go, Piney?
All right, I have 2 after this. The next one I have after this is going to be the Ranger. And then after that, I have the Rogue.
You're saving the best for last. Good job.
After that, then I'll have to see what I'll do for next year.
Well, which one is your favorite so far? Because you could play that one up to cap.
Well, probably I will have to decide whether to do that's going to be a tough choice between now, do you play a single, is it best to play a single class up to cap for the first time, or is it?
You're going to get lots of different answers. Well, 2 different answers for that. Yes, no. It depends on your class. I would do, if you want to be an assassin, single class.
Right. Well, I am right now split between doing the Artie and the Lock.
Warlock single class is simple. That's the easiest class I ran.
All right.
I don't know if you're looking for easy, though.
I'll have to decide what to do because I have been getting probably the Artie or the Lock because I know I like classes that can, I guess, do a bit of range. Now, I've never really gotten completely along with melee in DDO yet.
Some people, that's all they play, melee. Leslie, she plays paladins. She's branching out. She has a sorcerer now. She used to play
she has a
rangers,
sorcerer now.
She does, yeah.
Ooh.
In our Red Eye, she's a sorcerer. She does really well, which I'm going to talk about.
All right. Then what did you do last week?
Well, the Red Eye, we met up. We do the Red Eye every other week on the Tuesdays that we don't do the damsels. So this week we're level 10, and we did Von 2 and 3. And the Red Eye this time, my character's name is Saba 7, because Saba 1 through 6 either died or she had to go away. Saba 7 is a bard type with some fighter in there.
And what's the Red Eye?
Oh, it's my static group, PD group.
Okay.
Atlantis. So we've been together for 3 years now, a little over 3 years. Since this is Saba 7, we've been through quite a few. We actually got each of our characters up to 20. We TR'd and then we died. So we had to start over again because it's PD. So we did Von 2 and 3, which at level for people who've been running, not very challenging anymore, but still a lot of fun because we have great time doing the Red Eye. And
what's Von?
Vault of Night, which is a quest chain leading to a raid in House K. And so you have to do 4 parts to flag for the 5th part, and then you run the 5th part, which is fairly long, really good XP, to get you to the actual raid. Well, they're both raids, but the final one is in part 6, and there you face a dragon. So we are trying to flag for it, and that way we'll get other people in our guild, hopefully, to go run the raid. If not, we have to decide whether we want to do a 6-person raid or not, because that sometimes leads to death, and that's not a good thing in PD.
Yeah.
I also ran Sid. She's my heroic completionist. She's doing a 2nd Warlock life because I like the 3 MRR for the past life, and I'm trying to catch up with some guys that I run our TRs with, and I was level 7, they were level 8, so I went into a small problem elite at level, and as I told you, Pine Leaf Warlock is easy. That was the easiest time I've ever had doing a small problem. That's the quest in House P. We're trying to convince Brawn Pitts to be part of a play or something, and there are a couple tasks that he sets you to do.
That's that giant with all those?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a small problem. The really small problem is the one where you're trying to get that air altar.
Yes, exactly. Because usually trying to get there, besides having to jump up there, on each little platform that you're jumping from, or rock base that you're jumping from, things pop up and they just try and... But with a Warlock, it was so easy. I just spammed things and kept on going.
Oh, what kind of Warlock do you have?
I use Chain Missile. I have a Fey Warlock.
Okay, Chain Missile.
Yep, using Chain Missile, so it just goes from one to another, and before you know it, they're all dead. First time around, it's kind of fun watching that chain go around. I still think it's fun watching the chain go around, but I want a little more challenge when I do quests. And it seems like on the Warlock, unless I do something stupid, I don't think I'm gonna die.
I don't know. I have managed to get myself killed on a Warlock. Of course, if you remember, I did a video series for the Warlock where I went up to level 7, and of course, the place where I really got killed a lot was in the temple.
Right. Yeah, on my TRs, unless I can convince the guys to do it, we skip the temple. And then the last thing I did was Saba. She's my she's my epic completionist that I'm working on with the damsels. I wanted to take advantage of the +1 loot weekend we just had. So I went into Tavern Brawl because I want the throwing dagger, but I didn't get anything. And then I went into Grim and Barrett because I want the quiver. And guess what, Drac?
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I'm not listening.
First time I scored the quiver, and it's the epic version, so pretty sweet.
So the quiver drops in Grin and Barrett?
Yes.
Yes.
You know what quest we're going to be doing this week.
I can pretty much do it with my eyes closed at this point, so let's do it.
See, that's what you need, somebody to say, yes, let's do it. Then I did Subversion. I want the Fatal Flaw because I do have a mechanic rogue, and the Eagle's Eye Trinket, because what rogue doesn't want that?
Trying to get that trinket, yeah.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I did on normal, and then I went back in on hard. These are epic versions, and I had to go. It took twice as long for me to get through hard as it did on normal, which normal was just like 5 minutes or so 10 on hard, and I just had to go really slow because those archers were just killing me. I focused on the archers before champions, if you can believe it, because they seem to be hitting me harder. But even on epic hard, I still got nothing in the box. And then I did multiple of menace because I want those daggers, and Nothing. I did that one on hard as well, and still nothing.
See, I don't feel so bad then.
Right. When I did it on hard, Juggernauts, the optional to kill the Juggernauts, they
I
were all
know.
champions.
Yeah.
All
I
champions.
hate it when those things are champions.
Oh, that was great. Because,
Oh.
I wasn't sure whether I was going to make it or not. So I like that. Then I did the Archon's Trial because I went the Rune Arm and the Quarterstaff, and I got nothing. And the Devil's Details because I went the Crossbow and the Shuriken, and I still got nothing. So out of it all, I got the Quiver for my +1 weekend. But I have fun doing. And if I'm on my sneaky rogue, I try and sneak as much as I can to see how much I can, if they'll see me or not. And then I go back and assassinate them.
I do that too. There's something just so satisfying about
Yes,
that.
there is.
Sounds mean.
But it's so fun, though.
He hasn't played one yet, right?
No, he hasn't.
He
Well,
will. 2 more
The
lives,
rogue
right?
is going to be in December.
And then
so-
you'll know. Well, you have to take your rogue up to where you can actually assassinate, which
Oh,
level
What-
12, right?
Yeah.
oh
12.
yeah. I'm not going to get up to assassination level.
It's just you'll never know the satisfying feeling that you get from doing that, though, Pinely.
Yeah, and then when you get several in a row lined up
Oh, that's
perfectly.
the best.
Yep. And the whole time the damsels are playing, because I play Saba's a pure assassin rogue, and Lessa gets the aggro because she's a paladin, and all the time she's like, sneak attack, assassinate. She's telling me what to do with my character, and then Miss in the background.
Oh, a paladin ordering a rogue to assassinate?
Yes. Well, Lessa's not
That
a typical
sounds so out
paladin.
of character.
I was going to say, this is Lessa that we're talking about.
Yes,
so
exactly.
that's all you need to think about before you even question it.
We didn't plan it when we started out which characters we were going to play with the damsels. But I like rogue, Myth likes sorcerers, and Lessa likes paladins. So we just put it all together that way, and it works so well because Lessa does get the aggro even before they quote fix the paladins. She was a tank and she got the aggro, and if we were having Myth or I were having difficulties, Lessa would just kite them around in a circle, and I would sneak up behind trying to assassinate as I was going. And that's still what we're doing. And the Myth does all her powerful sorcerer stuff. It's a great group. If you guys are ever going to get a group together, I would suggest those 3. If you want to not Zerg everything, because we don't really Zerg. We're not min-maxers.
All right then. Anything else?
Nope, that's it for now.
Very well. If you would like to help support DDO players, you could go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you'll find rewards, including a mention of DDO players news, or even to be able to be a guest host with us. We'd also like to thank DDO Central for their donation, and you can check their website at ddocentral.com. We did not have any iTunes reviews, nor any featured comments, though we did feature a number of comments in response to one of the earlier articles. And no emails, but you can send us an email at podcast@ddoplayers.com. You could also follow us at Twitter, the Players Alliance at Players Ally, DDO Players at DDO Players, Draculetta at Draculetta_72, Pineleaf at Pineleaf Needles, and you could follow our guest at Saba Jade, and also at the Damsels of DDO website. The Players Alliance has 2 live shows every single week. On Mondays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have DDO Players News. And on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Lotro Players News. We also have 2 more shows that we have every other week. Every other Thursday at 9 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have XP Quest. And every other Saturday, after Lotro Players News, we have Tales of the Free Folk. And you can join us for our live shows at ddoplayers.com/live. That is all for this week. This is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to quest responsibly.